Somewhere in the ancient world, a man held a spinning metal sphere powered by steam and wrote it all down. That document sat on a shelf. For centuries, the technology to transform human civilization existed, was recorded, and then simply vanished. Not because it was hidden, not because it was forbidden, but because the building that held it burned. The Library of Alexandria wasn't just a library. It was the closest humanity ever came to a single, unified memory. Founded in the 3rd century BCE by Ptolemy I, a general who inherited a piece of Alexander the Great's empire, it was built on an audacious idea: collect every scroll in the known world. Not summaries, not excerpts, everything. Ships docking in Alexandria's harbor were searched, books confiscated, copied by official scribes, and the originals kept while copies were returned to their owners. At its peak, the library held between 400,000 and 700,000 papyrus scrolls. Each scroll copied by hand, sometimes over weeks. Inside those shelves sat the complete 122 plays of Sophocles, star charts from Hipparchus that wouldn't be properly recreated for 1,000 years, and mathematical treatises that modern scholars are still unpacking. This wasn't a collection. It was civilization's entire hard drive, stored in one building, in one city, on one coast. Here's the first myth most people carry: that the library was destroyed in a single catastrophic fire, likely blamed on Julius Caesar. It's a clean story, dramatic, satisfying, but it's almost certainly wrong. The historical record shows a much slower, more painful truth. The library declined gradually, through neglect, funding cuts, and multiple smaller incidents across centuries. No single villain, no single night, just a long, quiet forgetting. The second myth is about what was actually lost. Most people imagine ancient poetry and philosophy, important, yes, but distant. What they don't picture is Heron of Alexandria's Yalopile, a hollow sphere mounted on pipes with bent nozzles. Boil water inside, steam jets out, the sphere spins. It was a functioning steam engine, documented in detail, roughly 1,700 years before the Industrial Revolution. The knowledge existed. The blueprint survived long enough to be copied. Then the copies disappeared. The third myth is that the library's destruction set humanity back by centuries. Historians debate this carefully. The library's decline coincided with political instability, economic collapse, and the fracturing of the Roman Empire, forces that would have slowed progress regardless. The loss was devastating, but it wasn't the only reason the ancient world's momentum stalled. Civilizations don't fall because of one building. They fall because of everything happening around that building. The fourth myth is perhaps the most quietly devastating: that most of what was lost is simply gone. In reality, fragments survived. Scholars in Baghdad, Constantinople, and Cairo preserved and translated pieces of the ancient world's knowledge during centuries when Europe had largely moved on. The Islamic Golden Age didn't emerge from nothing. It emerged partly from what was rescued. Knowledge doesn't always burn completely. Sometimes it just travels somewhere else and waits. Now here's what flips everything. The Library of Alexandria may never have been a single building at all. Modern historians, drawing on archaeological evidence and ancient texts, now believe the library was likely a network of connected institutions. The Mouseion, satellite collections, private holdings, spread across the city. The image of one grand hall containing all human knowledge? That's a myth we invented later because we needed the story to be that simple. What the Library of Alexandria actually represents isn't a tragedy of fire. It's a warning about fragility. Every generation assumes its knowledge is permanent, carved in stone, backed up, safe. But knowledge requires active protection, active funding, active care. The ancient world didn't lose its memory in a single night. It lost it slowly through indifference, the way we lose things today. The real question isn't what burned in Alexandria. It's what we're quietly letting fade right now, assuming someone else is keeping a copy. Subscribe to factstormhub. We tell stories like this every day. Full article on factstormhub.com.